on this episode of A Tale of Two Hygienists.
So in a practice, to me, just me, I feel like no matter how much I might love Shannon on the hygiene team and Christy on the assisting team, like my job as the leader is to be good to everybody. Now try to elevate the other people, get more Christys, more Shannons, and if you're not up to par, like you gotta go.
So I live my life around, like, I don't like to be annoyed. So I feel like I need people around me that I enjoy being around. I enjoy being around people who see things, who have the same approach to patient care, who care as much as I do. Got those people around, and they're very different personalities. It's not like I have like the Stepford team, because they're not. You know, so once you do this, I want to do things for them, and I want to appreciate them.
Yeah, this is a tale, oh yeah, a tale of two hygienists. So there might be only one, bringing the best of dental knowledge, and we do it all with ease. We cover oral health and screening, and preventing gum disease. We're gonna do a lot of learning, and have a little bit of fun working at the dentist. A tale of two hygienists.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of A Tale of Two Hygienists, episode number 467, and Merry Christmas. This is a end-of-year holiday bonus crossover collaboration sort of episode that we did with Dr. Pam Maragliano Munoz and Dr. David Rice from the Dentistry Unmasked podcast. It was really great. We recorded this several weeks ago, and I'm happy that we did, but also since that time, there have been more conversations happening regarding our holiday bonuses and what we as hygienists feel like we are entitled to or not entitled to, or deserve or not deserve, or our wants and wishes and hopes and dreams for, you know, holidays and vacations and bonuses and end of year stuff. And so I think I will keep that in mind for next year and bookmark some of those things. And so we can talk about it even further. But it was a great episode. If you don't listen to the Dentistry Unmasked podcast, be sure to give that a listen. Make sure you tell your dentist, your doctors, whoever you work with about what a great podcast it is. But we'll keep this one short and sweet. And with that, here is the crossover episode.
A tale of two hygienists.
Hey everybody, my name is David Rice. Welcome back to another episode of Dentistry Unmasked. We got a special one this week, don't we, Pam?
Oh my gosh, we do. We're doing a holiday collab with A Tale of Two Hygienists. So welcome, Andrew and Annie. I'm so happy you guys have joined us today.
Thank you for having us.
This is great. This is also one of my favorite topics to kind of tackle, because it's a little bit, it's not controversial, but it's like, it can be heated and passionate. So I'm excited about this one.
Absolutely. Well, I'm ready for that, because David and I are cheap dentists. You guys are hygienists, and we're going to be talking about holiday parties, holiday bonuses, end of the year bonuses. And so, yeah, I think we have the distinct possibility of making you both really annoyed today. So I hope not, but we might.
It's not okay to, can't wear like a Scrooge outfit from the day after Thanksgiving till
Just
January
be the
1.
miser of holidays. Like, oh, we're not gonna do this. Well, and it's the interesting thing though, because like, I mean, you said it right there. Is like the perception of what like the team thinks, what we're like indebted towards us or whatever, like we're owed for like the end of the year, is so different than what the business owner probably expects, right? And so I mean, I think I would like to open it like, what do you guys do first of all? And that would be our jumping off point. And then I read some stuff on Reddit that I want to share too. I'm excited about that too. So,
all right,
Pam,
well,
go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I do, but I'm going to also tell you what I've done. So this is my confessional booth here. So what I do actually is inspired by what I appreciated when I was a dental hygienist. One of my favorite offices that I worked in used to give me a week's pay. So like I worked there 2 days a week, and so I got 2 days pay as a bonus, which I thought was super cool. And I got a gift. So his wife's family was a jeweler, and so they used to give us like in China actually. So we used to get like these pearl earrings or necklaces or different things like that, and which I thought was really neat and really personal from them. And then we used to have a dinner. And so we would go to dinner. And so I just thought that was a nice way to go. And I felt like it was fair. I worked there 2 days a
Mhm.
week. That's what I got. If somebody worked there 5 days, they got more. And I feel like it just seemed to make sense for me, and I appreciated it. So that's kind of what I do now. And I feel like I appreciated it. I hope you appreciate what I do. If you don't care, because that's what I do. But I will tell you that when I bought my practice 10 years ago, I tried to do that, and it became expected. It was kind of like it didn't feel good. And there were years where I felt like they don't deserve it. And I did not do that. There was one year, at least one year, where I just gave like a flat, small monetary bonus. And I was just like, you know what? You're not contributing to this office. I had somebody tell me that, oh, you can't get parking on Columbus Day, when it was Columbus Day, and and would encourage me to close the office more than I needed to. And I was like, then I wised up to some of this stuff, and I was like, sorry, you're not going to get this, like, like you're taking advantage of me. And so
Mhm.
I'm going to give you something, but it's not going to be everything. And so now I have a team in place that I feel more comfortable being generous. But when we get to holiday parties, we can talk about that too, because it's not
Okay.
always rainbows and snowflakes. What about you, David?
Ooh, okay. So we separate church and state. We don't do money as a bonus at the end of the year. We have a couple really strong financial plays that happen all year long. So I would probably put our team's numbers against most across the US and, teeny little Amherst, New York. But dollars and cents for us is based on the business of dentistry and we us performing together well as a team. So what we do is we have a pretty big holiday dinner. We invite significant others. If you're dating, if you're married, whoever you want to bring, a friend, we do that. We kind of go all out for that. And then we buy gifts. And I love what you said earlier about like the jewelry. So Mark and I every year would sit down and say like, okay, what's something really unique we could bring and really personal to each team member? And we have a dollar amount in mind. It's a good budget for everything, and it's everybody gets a different gift based on who they are. So we try to make it really unique to them, and then we sort of our perception is we're separating the expectation of like, oh, it's the end of the year, I get more money. No, it's the end of the year, we celebrate because we really like each other. We got more money 12 months of the year.
And
I
that's actually a
love
really good
that.
distinction, right? Because I feel like the bonus for working hard all year long has nothing to do with the holidays. It has nothing to do with
Right.
this celebration we should be experiencing together, right? So having
Sure.
a dinner, the offices I work at now, they do a dinner cruise out of St. Pete, and it's significant others. They rent out the whole ship, and that to me is, we appreciate you. We like you a lot. We want to spend more time with you outside of work as a thank you. And then we're going to also have a nice meal and a nice cruise. It's beautiful. Whenever I was given money at the end of the year or whatever, it was almost always based on just like existing in that space. And it always felt kind of weird to me. It's like, oh, I existed for another year, so you're gonna give me $500 for every year that I'm here. That kind of was a little bit weird. I didn't do anything for it. And it did feel a little bit impersonal. I mean, who doesn't like money though? I mean, I like the money, but it did feel very impersonal. It's like, here's an envelope. Happy holidays. Cool.
Well, I would argue that one reason I appreciated a monetary bonus is that, and I guess it's different now because like I'm married and Rich has a job and whatever, and I'm a practice owner and I have like 4 jobs. So it's a little different now. But when I was a hygienist, I didn't feel like there was tons of extra money around. I was, paying loans. I was living in an apartment, like all of the things. And let's face it, we all have more expenses this time of year. Like we have
Mhm.
to buy gifts for our families. And I, of course, for the longest time was like the single one, and everybody around me had kids. So for one
Mhm.
gift I'd get, I'd have to put out like 4 gifts for people. And
Right.
I felt like I appreciated it because it helped me. It wasn't like that money did change my life in any way, but it did help me pay
Mm.
for these presents that I had to buy for everybody around me. So I appreciated it for that reason.
Oh,
I
for
completely
sure.
agree with that. I feel like yeah, from a hygienist perspective, that little extra money at the end of the year goes such a long way. But I feel like, at least for me, and when I was reflecting on when I've had different practice settings I've worked in, has dictated what has been given at the end of the year. I've worked in settings where they did give a monetary bonus in addition to a dinner. I've worked for some where they just do a really cool Christmas party and then that's it. And so it's hard to say. And also the practice size dictated that too. When I worked in a really small practice, they gave a monetary bonus. When I worked in a larger practice, they gave a big Christmas party. When I worked in public health, it just didn't exist at all. And that was just it. So I feel like that was also dependent too. So, but the extra money at the end of the year was always really nice.
That's a
I
really
agree
good
with Pam.
point too. I think size matters.
Yep.
You know, when you're smaller, there were a lot of things when I first started off, there's a lot of things that I could do that, once we had 20 people on our team,
Mm.
it was really,
Yep.
really difficult to do. When we started off, in fact, we just did dinners for ourselves. We thought it's gonna be really intimate and really special. This is our core team. And then as we kind of grew older together, it became more important to do things that were more significant others. And then like in other times of the year, do like all family stuff, even though I don't have kids. But I think there's a lot of right ways to do this. But I'm guessing, Andrew, you mentioned Reddit. There's probably a lot of wrong ways to do it too.
Well, there are, and I do want to actually get your opinions on this one thing. One thing on Reddit was about gifting time off during the holidays. Do you feel like that's like an appropriate gift?
I
I have
think
a question about this too when you're done talking. I want to
I
ask
think
you
it's a
guys
little
about it.
weird. I feel like the reason I say that, well, so we take the week between Christmas and New Year's off. So like we're off. And so if you have PTO, you can use it up,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. I'm technically, my bonus, if you will, sort of covers that week. So if you don't have PTO and you're not working, you're getting paid. I mean, I guess you can look at it any number of ways, but I feel like, can you do that? You have to check with, I feel like an HR thing that's just a little bit, I don't know. I feel like it's that, like, for me, I like to keep it simple and I like to be generous, but be generous not to the detriment of judgment from my accountant or my HR people. And I feel like, you still have to, like, for example, my bonuses that I give are run through payroll. I don't give people an envelope of cash because my accountant said do not do that. So I don't do that. Um, I don't know how that works.
So, Pam, I feel like that rounds out exactly why you do what you do. And that makes total sense to me because you are giving people the gift of time along with the gift of money with that week. I'll tell you I love the concept of giving time off because you mentioned it earlier, Pam. We're not going to change most people's lives by giving them a bonus, right? But if you give a single parent time off, that's life changing. So I like the concept of that. I don't like it around the holidays for us in our practice, and I'll share why. We have basically two generations of patients who come, and the second generation are all undergrads or all medical schools, dental schools, whatever the school. So when they come home, that week is one of the most productive weeks possible.
Yeah.
And us taking it off would be really damaging to the practice and then trickle down damaging to that financial bonus system that we talked about. Like that crushes the end of the year. And then, after the new year, that whole week like tees up the entire first quarter for everybody.
Yeah. And
It's
I can
hard.
definitely see it. I mean, it's from a, building your practice perspective, if you can't see those patients, someone else will, right? And
Yeah.
so then you're going to lose those patients and all the, not to be too like businessy, but all the revenue that is attached to those patients as well. I like the idea of the fact that Pam, you guys take that time off. I do like that idea a lot. It really is something I've never been gifted ever, and so I don't actually know how I would respond to that because if I get to use my PTO, I might want to use my PTO during a different time and not, kind of not be forced into having to use my PTO then. It's kind of similar to when a doctor takes a week off in the middle of the year and I'm like, what am I going to do? Do I plan my life around my doctor's life, or do I plan my life around my family's life and what we want to do? And I just don't know. I've never been gifted that. So it's kind of, Annie, what do you think about gifting
Well,
time?
I don't know if I've ever been like gifted time. I worked for one office that was a larger practice, and it was always understood that we took 2 weeks off at the end of the year between Christmas and New Year's, and it was unpaid, and I didn't have PTO working full time there. And then I worked for a smaller practice where I was the only hygienist, and we took 1 week off, and I didn't have PTO, and it was still unpaid. So it was like forced time off that I had to take, but I wasn't getting paid. And I didn't really have a say in that. And so that was hard, I feel like. Yeah, I feel like that was hard when I didn't have a voice in that. It was like, you just have to take this time off. And it's like, well, that's not, I don't know. That didn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
Is it too philosophical to almost step back on this one and call it why having a vision and like a common set of core values is so important? And Pam, like we've had this conversation a million times. The beautiful transformation you've made with your leadership and team blows me away whenever we have this conversation. So what I know about you and your team is you're all on the same page. So this really, really works. And I think, Andy, to your point, most people aren't doing it like Pam's doing it.
Right.
Therefore, either the team's unhappy, some of the team's unhappy, or the team's happy and the dentist is horribly unhappy.
And it's disheartening for me as a hygienist because I feel like I am bringing so much for the office and giving my all. And I hate talking about numbers, kind of makes me cringe a little bit, but I'm looking at my numbers and I'm seeing what I'm bringing to the office, and I'm having quarterly conversations with the dentist and seeing how I can contribute to the office. And I feel like I'm truly being a strong member of the team. And then at the end of the year, not really, it's not that I'm asking to be rewarded, but I just want to feel seen and valued. And it's like, well, you have to take this week, 2 weeks off. And like, not that there's any like bonus or anything associated. So it's like, and that's happened in 2 different settings that I've been in. And so it's hard.
Can I say something that's like going to piss some people off?
Yes,
Please say it.
I don't mean to sound anti-hygiene because I'm not, and everybody who knows me knows I'm not.
100%. We know that.
You know that I'm not. But so, David, I appreciate what you said about us all kind of being on the same page and that kind of thing. 2 things I want to say. There was a prosthodontist that I met during my residency who said to me, once you get practicing and you're out there, you'll realize when you need a break, oftentimes your team needs a break too. And she was like, what worked for me was I need a week off almost every quarter, and so they would shut down the whole practice for a week every quarter. And that's just what worked for them. I shut down the office kind of twice a year, usually around July 4th. Patients don't even want to come anyway. We definitely shut down at Halloween, but it's not a week. It's like depending on where Halloween lands. And then obviously for the holidays. But I don't have to be on the same page as my hygienists in Massachusetts, as long as they can't provide local anesthetic without me there, but they can provide basic hygiene services. So if my hygienist doesn't take off when I take off, I couldn't care less. When they take off, when I'm in the office, I'm a happy little dog around because I don't have to stop and do hygiene checks every 5 seconds. So to be honest with you, the only one that I really book my trips around, like my time off, is with my assistant. And so with my assistant that's with me the most. And so because of religious purposes, she actually celebrates her holiday the first week of January. So I get to take off the holiday week, and then I've just started taking off the first week of January because she's not there anyway, and I don't like to be annoyed. So, I kind of coordinate my time off with her. I know she likes to do a family vacation every August, and so I encourage that she takes it during the aesthetics meeting so I can be, we're off around the same time. But my office doesn't always just shut down when I take time off. So my hygienists can work as much as they want. In fact, I always try to encourage people to do a whitening special, to be busy while I'm not there. Or I'm like, hell, we've got 4 ops, bring in more hygienists to have like a hygiene fest when I'm not there,
Hygiene fest.
Yeah.
The
So I mean,
banners
I
and
don't
balloons and everything. Yeah. Okay.
Lots of music.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
As
I
long
guess
as
this is the thing though, doctor. Like, it's you're so dang unique.
So
And
yeah.
I'll say something that's going to piss some people off too, but it's like most doctors aren't going to be cool with that. They're not going to let their hygienist come in unsupervised and do the
Mhm.
thing because of whatever reasons that they might have. I would love to be able to go in and, get some more hours. And as long as my schedule's full and, no, we're not wasting time for anyone. I would love to do that
A
too, but
day of hygiene, no doctor exams, just doing
how
the oh,
great would that be?
it's a
Just produce,
dreamy.
produce, produce. For
Yes.
the same reason though, it was like, oh, okay, I don't have to wait for a doctor. I don't have to go
Right.
interrupt what they're doing so I can get an exam
Exactly.
for the same reasons. But most doctors won't do that.
So I'll bounce it back the other way too. Admittedly, most hygienists aren't the two of you. And for every doctor who won't let a hygienist do it, there's a
reason.
hygienist out there who's absolutely not meeting with their doctor once a quarter, absolutely
Yeah.
not looking at their schedule saying, how can I be the best me? Absolutely like leveraging their doctor. I literally read this the other day for like the 1 millionth time. Doctors are assholes. Thank God for COVID, because now the shoe's on the other foot. And I wanted to jump through the computer and be like, you're exactly, can I say this at the holiday time? You're the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're the problem. Listen, you're like, we all have to bring our A+ game. If I'm a shitty dentist and a shitty leader, then you should leave me. But there's no chance in hell you deserve $80 an hour when you're slinging prophies on 9 patients a day and not doing all the things. And if you want to leverage me for that, good luck, because I'm either going to shut down my hygiene department and go hygieneless, or I'm going to hire a young dental student. I can do that. Thank you, ADA. Or a foreign dentist. Thank you, ADA, which is a whole other topic, but it is this topic, right? It's about treating people well who treat you well back.
Mhm.
And
Right.
when one of us fails, the whole thing falls apart, whether I'm leading the failure or you're leading the failure.
I would love to, by the way, tackle that topic on another episode, because
Yeah.
there's some more things that just got
I
brought
would
to my
too.
attention through Washington State. And I'm just like, holy crap, I can't believe this is happening. This is ridiculous.
It's
Okay,
crazy.
let me pose another like a bonus, whatever the holiday thing, and
Yeah.
get your feedback on it. We all have, I think, in our practices, maybe our favorite doctor, our favorite hygienist, our favorite assistant.
Yeah.
Is there anything wrong with giving them, let's say we're doing monetary, is there anything wrong with giving them more than the other person? Other than the fact that if they tell each other, then it's going to like blow up in everyone's face. But is there
Yeah.
like inherently anything wrong with that?
Bias.
Personally, for me, yes.
same.
Explain. Explain.
It's like a parent with their kids. Listen, I think if you sat most parents down behind closed doors to be like, listen, I kind of like that one a little better than this
Yeah,
one.
Molly's my favorite. Everyone knows that. Yeah.
Yeah, but as a parent, like if we don't want the other kid to grow up with lots of issues, we can't do it. So in a practice, to me, just me,
Mhm.
I feel like no matter how much I might love Shannon on the hygiene team and Christy on the assisting team, like my job as the leader is to be good to everybody. Now try to elevate the other people, get more Christys, more Shannons, and if you're not up to par, like you got to go. And
Mhm.
but yeah, for me, I think that's a bad thing.
I agree. When I say I give gifts for my office, I give the same gift for everybody. So I do a Swarovski crystal snowflake. It's a ornament for everybody. It's an annual ornament, so it's super pretty. It's sparkly. It's on brand for SDA. And so, like, if you've been with me 5 years, you've got 5 of them. If you've been with me 1 year, and you leave me, one and done. It is what it is. And then I also do office swag. And so there's some other things I do. I don't really want to share them because I know that some of my hygienists listen to this podcast and I don't want them to know about it. So there's some things I do. We do like a little bonus for every year you've been at the office. Like, so there's different things that we do. But yeah, I feel like favoritism is just, that's setting yourself up for a problem. So I don't know. That doesn't feel good to me. I don't think I could do that.
And I feel
Nope.
like as a hygienist, if I was working there, if I was working a practice like that and I knew someone else got like a higher bonus or something, and then I was like, well, what did I do wrong? Or
Mhm.
why should I be working so hard? If they like, I don't know, it doesn't set a good tone, I feel like.
What do
Now-
you think, Andrew?
Well, I don't like it either, but I actually want to tweak this question just one more like level to it. Now let's say instead of them being like both the assistant or both the hygienist or whatever, what if one was a lead? Is there they carry more responsibility? Are they entitled to more because they have a different position? Like because your associates will get more than probably your hygienist would. So what does that look like?
See, that's why I like my system. You get a week's equivalent, whatever. So chances are, if you're a lead, you're getting more money. So you're working more hours. So you're working more days. So you're probably going to get like quote unquote a better bonus than say somebody who works 2 or 3 days a week or the junior one who's, making the least amount hourly. So I feel like it just sort of levels the playing field. But yeah, no, I think anything where you're going to do more for one and not for all, I think is a problem. And also, if you're like, no, I've got my favorite hygienist, I want to give them more whatever, then maybe you need a different team. Like maybe you need a team of everybody that's your favorite because that, you know what I mean? Like, why have one person that's great and everybody else is going to be like, you know, looked, just less than? Then
Mediocre.
you need to have better people on your team.
I think Annie wants to go work for you, by the way.
I do.
I see her face
I
light up
really
every
do.
time you talk
I'm
about,
like, can
your
I come
systems.
work for you? Literally, that was
You
in
have
my
to get
head while she was
licensed.
talking. I was like, can I come work for you, Dr. Pam?
Why not?
It would be a good, it'd be a good run.
Oh,
It would be fun. Just saying.
Another
Hope you
thing
like
that was
pink.
brought up on Reddit was the mandatory attendance to these dinners and these parties. How do you feel about it? I mean, it's a really good team building opportunity. It's really good for everyone to kind of be able to like decompress outside of work. But we have some personalities in dentistry, and not everyone wants to attend and hang out with people, not because they don't like them, but because they are shy or not social or
but I feel
whatever.
like if
What are
you
your
have a
thoughts on?
strong team, you should all want to.
I mean, I can be really strong at work, and then like my time is my time, or
Understandable.
Can't you just say I can't go? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with being like, oh man, that Saturday? Oh shoot. And you don't go. Like I don't think you have to be hurtful in your reason why. I mean, I feel
Mhm.
like we try to schedule our party. We start scheduling in the summertime, basically, trying to nail down a date and all the things because if I waited too long, inevitably somebody couldn't go. And I feel like
Right.
I don't want you to feel like you're being left out, but everybody reserves the right to not be able to go. And that's just what it is. I mean, you can't really change the date once it's set. And if you don't want to go, just say you can't. I mean, I don't know.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think for me, this is a culture thing. And but as I'm sitting here listening, you actually made me think deeper on it. So I don't know if I'm thanking you or mad at you for that. I feel like if I have that really shy person on my team who like, and I kind of get that, like Anastasia's super shy. You guys wouldn't think that, right? In a small group of us together, she loves it. In a big group of people, like, whoa, it's overwhelming for her. So I get that persona. I think I don't have anyone like that in my practice, but if I did, I think what I would ask them is, you know what? If you could make an appearance for like 10 minutes, and then my job as the leader is to be like, do you know how hard that was for so and so to come for that? Pretty cool that they love you so much. They did something that was really hard. And then the rest of us have a nice time as opposed to, can you believe David Rice didn't show up or he showed up for 10 minutes and left? And I feel like that's part of my job to guide where that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
I'm
hard
fortunate. I don't know anybody who doesn't want to come to my party. So I
I know,
thankfully,
and that's the hard part. I was like,
Yeah.
I've been in these large group practices for most of my career, so I think I'm a little bit slanted on like kind of how I view it versus Dr. Pam, how you do yours, because I mean, you have a tight knit group, whereas mine's, we had 100 offices in the last place and 50 offices before that. Now, it's relatively small, but there are people who have said, I just don't like being around that many people. Yeah. And I'm like, I still want to celebrate you. Like, what can I do to make you feel included, but not make you go to this event that's going to make you feel, uncomfortable. Um, I don't know. I actually don't have an answer for that one either. I think that, as you get to know everyone individually and just have conversations with them, I think that you can just show that your appreciation in a different way. Right. But
That'd be a badass team meeting, actually, to really understand who everyone is and why they feel the way they feel, and to get that out in the open. To your point, Andrew, it gets harder, right? 50, 100 something locations. It's scale breaks things really quickly. But I think scale makes it easier for me to sort of disappear and no one necessarily notices that I'm not there. So maybe there's that, but that'd be a cool opportunity to grow and really understand people.
That would be. It'd be
I'm a
so hard
weirdo
and
like that.
uncomfortable, but like I know I'm with you on that one. That'd be a fun little like event to like let's pry into motions and feelings of our team members.
Yeah.
I think that was all that
Crazy.
Reddit had. There's a couple other ones about like the types of dinner. Do we have to go to a fancy restaurant? Do we have to reserve this? Do we have it catered in house? Do we do these? But honestly, they're kind of weak questions, so I'm not going to ask them on this one.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you have to accommodate all the different dietary requirements. And so I don't know. I feel like this year we're going super cash with the food. So I've done the fancy dinner. I've done we went to the Bruins game where you're just eating like whatever's at the Bruins game. This year we're doing X golf. And so it's literally like bar food. And then plus like I'm going to bring in food for the vegans. And so we've got some things there. But, you know, for me, it's not about the food. It's about the team and having camaraderie and just having a good time and having something where I try to do something different every year. So it's like, oh, remember that year? Like I don't like having to do the same thing every year, but that's my preference. Like I like to switch it up and try to think of new things.
I feel like this topic comes up every year, right? We talk about this all the time. Dr. Pam, do you have it kind of written out, like maybe the article form or something like that? Like how, like your ideal, like if a practice wanted to implement what you do, is that written out somewhere?
In my brain. No, I
There could
don't.
be people
that'd make
listening
a
that
good
are like, these are
article or-
great ideas. I want to incorporate this into my practice.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, no. I just sort of, so I live my life around, like, I don't like to be annoyed. So I feel like I need people around me that I enjoy being around.
Sure.
I enjoy being around people who see things, who have the same approach to patient care, who care as much as I do. And then when I have, when I got those people around, and they're very different personalities. It's not like I have like the Stepford team because they're not in any way. And it's like, so once you do this, I want to do things for them and I want to appreciate them. The one personalized thing that I do for my team for around the holidays, which is hard, it's harder than you think, is I write them each a card. And it's not like, great, thanks for the great year. Like I literally try to write something different for every person. And so I feel like that's one way that I hope they leave feeling appreciated and something else. So I don't know if somebody out there is like, I want to, I don't know, do whatever you're doing. I mean, you could just call me or email me or something, and I'm happy to share my perspective on things. But no, I don't write things down. I just feel like I want to, you mentioned David COVID, and I feel like for me, I just got tired of trying to fit this mold, like this dentist mold. And I had bought my practice from this woman dentist, and I felt like I had to kind of do things similarly to her or, whatever, because like it was almost fear-based. Like I didn't want patients to leave. I didn't want patients to whatever. And then like COVID hit and I was just like, why do I care? I literally don't care. I'm a middle child. I get along with everybody. Why am I trying to like do this whole thing when I don't really want to, like, it's just stressful and it's not fun and it's not really authentic. And I was like, you know what? If you don't want to be my patient, go. I don't care. You don't have to do that. You don't like how my approach to this? Perfect. There's a dentist down the road. And I feel like I started to become extremely unapologetic for things that I want in my practice, which is my home, and so I want hot pink chairs. I have friggin' hot pink chairs. I want, dogs everywhere. I've got dogs everywhere. I mean, and I feel like it makes me happy and it's attracting people that make them happy. And then all of a sudden we now have a community of people that are happy. And so I feel like if if you hate Cavaliers and you never want to stumble upon one in a dental office, then Salem Dental Arts isn't for you, because there's a chance
maybe
that
life isn't for you if you don't like that.
Right.
I mean,
let's be
hopping
honest.
chairs,
They're
come
adorable.
on. Come on.
They're the cutest thing. Well,
I'm just saying, but I mean, I feel like
yeah.
the more you can realize what makes you happy and don't apologize for it. And there's nothing wrong depending on what it is, but like for the most part, there's nothing wrong with that. And the more you can be yourself, you're going to attract people that, see your gifts and want to benefit from them. So, I mean, that's really why I don't have like a recipe book, because, I just like things my way.
Well, I think what you're saying though is if you have the right people around you, it kind of doesn't, all this holiday bonus, whatever, right, wrong, none of that matters at this point, right? Because we're just spending time with the people that we enjoy, and it's going to be right for your team. No matter what you do, it's going to be right for your team. And so, but it all starts with getting the right team in place. And if you are looking around and like you said earlier, it's like you don't want to have a favorite because you want them all to be your favorites, and you have the wrong team.
Yeah, and I'll flip it. If you're a team member out there and you don't feel like you're at home when you go to the practice, change, right?
Absolutely.
Be honest, be professional, right? Don't just not show up one day, but you deserve the same we all deserve that same happiness. So change it for yourself. We all have control over our life, as crazy and ethereal as that seems at sometimes. We all get to build our own path.
This is like the biggest thing I talk to my students about when they graduate, is not just jumping to the first practice that offers them a job and finding a place that really speaks to them, because I don't want to see them get unhappy with this profession right out of the floodgates. So I'm like, find a place where you really truly feel at home and feel that you relate to and connect with and share the same values and feel appreciated and all those things. So
look at us holidaying the heck out of this thing.
I know. I love it.
That's really cool. I don't know. I feel like we opened it. A Tale of Two Hygienists. You guys should probably wrap this one up.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do really cool wrap ups on our show. Really appreciative though that we got to
thank you
have
so
a chance
much.
to
This has
hang
been
out
great.
with you guys. It's always fun. I think Annie and I think the world of the both of you.
Absolutely.
We're so jealous of the hygienists that get to work in your guys' circles. And happy holidays to everyone that's listening. Thank you so much for being with us all year long and for both of our podcasts. And we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, this is a tale, oh yeah, a tale of two hygienists. So there might be only one, bringing the best of dental knowledge, and we do it all with ease. We cover oral health and screening, and preventing gum disease. We're gonna do a lot of learning, and have a little bit of fun working at the dentist. A tale of two hygienists.